Welcome to the Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network. Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into the Sahlen's Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. My name is Joe Miller, and you can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, alongside my co-host, former Buffalo Bill for a very long time, left tackle, defending that blind side of one Jim Kelly, who you can find on Twitter at John Fina. His name is John Fina. You can find him on Twitter at John Fina, all that good stuff. Please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this presentation on. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Help us get our numbers up. Tell a friend, text it, tweet it, do all that, email it. I don't even care. Facebook, share it, whatever you got to do. But help us out if you could. It is so good to have every single one of you here on this Victory Monday. John Fina, the Buffalo Bills. It was ugly. It's been ugly, but I don't know how to explain the ugly versus whatever when it's 31 points again. Like, this team is perplexing, but at the end of the day, 4-0, baby. 4-0.
Yeah, I'll take ugly win all day long over ugly loss, or even beautiful loss. Not that there's such a thing as a beautiful loss, but hey, we talk about it as players, Joe, all the time. Scratch, claw, do everything you can to come away with a victory, and then by 24 hours later, when the bourbon wears off and the muscle relaxers subside, you're like, W.
Exactly.
You go to watch the film, maybe not look at a couple of plays that you put up in the public sphere, but those are easier to tolerate when you come away with a win.
Yeah, it could be way worse. We could be the Dolphins or the Jets, who are playing on Monday Night Football right now, who are both winless. So the Buffalo Bills are one of two undefeated teams. Interestingly enough, the other team is the Eagles, who are going to play at some point this season. What a game it would be. That game gets flexed, right? It ends up in some primetime fashion on a Sunday night or a Monday night, if it's possible, if both teams are undefeated when we go to clash heads, right? I mean, that's what a game that would be. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Is that the next to last game, or is it the third to last game?
I think it's the next to last game for the Buffalo Bills.
It might be all the twos are in for that. We might have it locked up. we might be sitting on the lanai drinking mint juleps and just relaxing. Who knows?
Who gives a crap? Who gives a crap if we win or lose that football game? But here on this Victory Monday, and if you're listening on Tuesday in podcast form, Victory Tuesday, or Wednesday, Victory Wednesday, we want to say welcome to all the people in the comment section, the ever faithful that are always with us in the comments, here to watch you break down some film from this football game. And this is the first week where we're not necessarily spotlighting anybody, so we'll get into that in a second. Just kind of want to get your feeling, and I'll give you my feeling of just, as you said, the bourbon has worn off, the muscle relaxers have worn off. Like, you're home, you're back in Phoenix, or I'm sorry, in Tucson now. Sorry about that. Which is is a trek for you to get home, but you are home. No flight troubles, I don't think, as far as delays and whatnot. But how has it settled with you? Because I've got some thoughts and feelings.
Well, first of all, leaving the next day early in the morning is not awesome. I'd rather just cruise over to Brookfield Country Club and maybe the golf course supervisor who put me up in the shack out there on top of a hay bale or something. That might be better. I summed it up a little bit right there. The game never goes as you write it down on paper, Joe, and it's all about team adjustments. It's about offense, defense adjustments, and it's all about intra-game player adjustments too, right? Like, I start off, whether I'm playing against the guy that I think I'm going to play against, or there's another dude coming in who I didn't see enough film on. So you're like, I'm scouting him as I'm playing. You've heard that expression, we're flying the plane as we build it, or building the plane as we fly it.
Yes.
And that's a lot of what football's like. So, without us being in the coordinators' rooms, the game planning scenario, not that we would understand it. I mean, it's practically Latin to me nowadays, but you can only go off the depth and breadth of what you've seen from that team in their previous 3 games. So typically on a preparation week, you watch, if you played them before recently, so we played, you play the Patriots in September, you play them again in October, you're going to go back and watch your film against them.
Right.
And then you're going to pick a couple more game films in its entirety. And then you're going to get a whole run of cut-ups from, every previous game that they played. So it's a function of, hey, wait a minute, they've been showing us, this type of alignment in a 3-4 or 3-3 or 4-2, but an application, because we're giving a different formation, we're seeing a look that we didn't expect.
Right.
So that's why when you go to the sideline, you get the Sharpies out, you got the grease board, you're talking about, hey, what was the alignment on 1st and 10 when we were at the 40-yard line going in? And you're kind of comparing notes. Well, that's not what we expected, kind of stuff. So, the changes that you make, the adaptability that you have during the game is player to player, it's group to group, it's offense to offense, and then team wide.
Right. There's just to everything that you said as far as the player side of it. As a fan, for the fan side of it, for me, there's always I'm going to say the come down, right? It's like, okay, things, there's people on Twitter calling for Sean McDermott's head again, which is just ridiculous. It's like,
let's go get the
how stupid.
I'm in.
How stupid do we have to be to want your head coach fired? Yes, we all know that Josh Allen is the engine that makes this machine go. Like, nobody's going to deny that, but there is the captain of the ship that is just as important. So I'm not there, never was there. There were some head scratchers, there were some execution things, but as you get around social media, as you listen to the radio, as you listen to the national conversations and things like that, even the 4th and 1 call, looking at that, go ahead.
So I didn't choose that play because I didn't want to relive it again. So
right, but
we're not going to break that down because it broke my heart when I saw it.
Well, there's speculation out there that, had Vandemark not gotten tripped, that there was a crease there for Khalil, and if he gets through that crease, it's not 1 yard he's picking up, he's probably picking up 50. And that's all the hindsight,
or just two,
right? But that's all the hindsight pieces of it as far as that goes. There's, the realization, that you're working through players that haven't been up yet, Curtis Samuel and some other guys like that, and then you're working through hearing things like Shaq Thompson is like the 4th rated linebacker in the NFL per PFF, and you're like, oh, that guy, like he's not even a starter for our football team. There's just a lot of that goes into the stew as a fan, and then you're like, we're 4-0 and we're only one of 2 teams that are 4-0. Like, what are we complaining about right now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, just enjoy it for 24, 48 hours as a fan. Like, hey, we're strutting into the break room, and the poor guy that got transferred from Florida, who's a Miami fan, you just get to strut up all over that guy or gal, right? Live it large. I think a lot of this becomes, some people want to maybe, get an accolade of outrage, right? Like, oh, I'm more learned than you, so I'm going to take this pop shot.
I'm mad as hell.
I'm angrier than you.
I'm not going to take this anymore.
Yeah, the guy or gal that yells the loudest or throws the biggest panic attack because they want to be more enraged than the other guy. Whereas we get great people like, Danny Kwan, personal friend of mine. Hey, Danny, thanks for listening, buddy. Appreciate the super sticker. And Danny's a super fan. We text during the games, after the games, just like I do with a lot of fans and friends. And
this is our first one of these. I've never seen this before. I can't actually put it up on the screen, I don't think. Or maybe I can.
Danny Kwan is in tech, so he probably knows more about the stickers than we do, Joe. So,
well, Danny Kwan, help me figure out how to make more of these happen. Like, what do we got to do to get you on board? No, that's it. But yes, thank you so much, Daniel. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. So look, I'm angrier than you, Joe. I'm more knowledgeable than you, and that gives me the right to be angrier. Look, how about take the right to be happy as hell that your team is 4-0? I know we've beat the living hell out of this dead horse, but Bills Mafia, the ones that are in our comments typically are ones that are celebrating 4-0.
Yeah.
I don't have my t-shirt on. But I'll be wearing
it. It's your Sahlen's Off Tackle with John Fina show uniform. like on Mondays, right? Like, what are you doing to me here? We need to get a Sahlen's Victory Monday t-shirt. Joe, if you're listening to this episode, get us a Sahlen's Victory Monday t-shirt. Man, I'm brilliant. Why haven't I thought of this already? Like,
I want the Sahlen's Victory t-shirt from 1869 when Sahlen's was founded. Fully family owned and operated. 5 generations churning out the best high quality meat for our family and loyal customers, from hot dogs, ham to turkey and sausage. Over our 150-year-old commitment to freshness, it's remained the forefront of what we aim to deliver to our customers. And now, anywhere in the country, bro, Sahlen.com. Drop the S, Sahlen.com. Order your dogs today. It's hot dog season all the time. Yep. So don't worry about it. If you live in Montana, order up on Sahlen.com. They've also got 15,000 partner retailers. So check your local grocery stores. You can pick up Sahlen's high quality product. And thank you again, Sahlen's, for making it the Sahlen's Off Tackle Show with me,
John Fina. You didn't say your name. I was waiting for the John Fina part. But the reality is, John Fina, if you are having Sahlen's shipped to your house, a Buffalo staple, the other Buffalo staple that you've got to have shipped to your house is Anchor Bar sauce, and so that you can make real buffalo wings at home. Because the reality is if you don't live in Buffalo, you're not getting good chicken wings. I've not lived in Buffalo in my life many times. You don't live in Buffalo. Jerry doesn't live in Buffalo, and it just hits different when you're home. But Anchor Bar ships wings all over the country. If you do not have an Anchor Bar in your town, you can still experience the home of the original chicken wing right where you live. Order online to have your wings shipped for game days, parties, any occasion. Anchor Bar original buffalo wings make great gifts. Go to anchorbar.com to order today. Enjoy making buffalo wings right at home. Buy Anchor Bar wing sauce as well for the original taste of buffalo. Anchor Bar chicken wing sauce is available in 5 delicious flavors. Simply pour over cooked wings and serve. Anchor Bar wing sauce is a blend of ingredients that coats your homemade wing for amazing flavor. John, that's a whole other conversation. Not that I want to live in this moment, but if you've made wings at home by yourself, the sauce doesn't sit on the chicken wing the same way at home as it does when you're in Buffalo. I don't know why it is, but
hey, forget Buffalo, dude. We're getting an anchor in Tucson, Arizona. I'm gonna go walking in like that GIF, the guy that shakes his head and waves his hands like all excited. Every day I'm gonna go.
You're not gonna do the strut one where the guy struts through the front door. Yes, but there are currently 16 Anchor Bar locations, with three new locations opening up this fall: Tucson, Arizona, Frisco, Texas, and Raleigh, North Carolina. Anchor Bar and Sahlen's, 2 awesome sponsors of the Overreaction Sports Network. We appreciate you guys. So let's jump into some film review there, John Fina.
Yeah, hey, I just picked a bunch of different plays as I was cruising through the all 22. I was like, this is kind of interesting from a player perspective, and that's what I'm trying to bring to you lovely people out there. So the first one, it's really a nothing burger, but when they moved the umpire from behind the defense and put the umpire back where the referee is. And remember, right, there's only one referee. Everybody else is the official. Now, you don't see the referee or the umpire in this picture. I blew it up for you, Joe. I know how old your eyes are. But take a look on the left side of your screen, Osiris Torrance. This is an old Giants trick. They used to do this all the time. What the deep part of the job of the defensive tackles is to eat up blocks, to keep the linebackers clean so they can make all the tackles. Now, sometimes they cheated a little bit. I'm going to run this through. Take a look at what happens to poor Osiris Torrance right here. Practically gets undressed. I think I could see his bra strap at one moment there. I mean, just ridiculous. But did I say bra strap? Did I say that? So typically the umpire would stand right about here. And as this play flows, I said right about here, but you can't see my cursor. So the umpire would be, in front of the center by about 7 yards on that yard line.
And the hash mark, right?
On the hash mark. And as the offensive line, the linebackers would move, he would kind of take a look at what he sees up front. So I'm going to try and freeze this right here. It happened too quick in real time. You see, Osiris wants to give a little bump on the D tackle to set him up for Vandermark. And then what Osiris Torrance wants to do is get to 56 and face up 56. But right there.
He looks late already.
He's not late. The problem is he gets grabbed, Joe. So
Oh,
you can
defensive
barely
holding.
see. Well, but you can't call it because the umpire is back
Isn't
there
there.
by the referee.
You can't see it. Yep.
So I bring this up a little bit of offensive line frustration, offensive lineman frustration. You know, we look at something like that. You could start to see his shoulder pads coming out of his jersey right there. And Torrance wants to make that block. And James Cook is waiting. He's looking right at that gap, but he can't get there because of the hold. So this is just a little interesting play from old offensive lineman's perspective right here.
I've watched a lot of football so far this year, including Bills games. I've been at 3 Bills games, so I did not get the commentary from obviously the broadcast, but they've called defensive holding on the defensive lineman a bunch this year so far.
Well, they should have called it there, Joe.
They missed it here. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so that's a little O-line perspective. Things like that, you get in the meeting room after the game and you're angry. You know, like, what kind of crap is this? You send it into the league. And then, you know, before the game, maybe the umpire walks up to the defensive tackles and says, "Hey guys, keep it clean, try not to hold." And you're like, yeah, you can't see anything anyway. And then they just go ahead and do whatever the hell they want.
Right. John holding some bitterness from
I'm getting a little angry here.
25 years ago.
Residual anger, Joe. All right, next play on the docket. This is a really interesting play. So hopefully everybody gets a chance to come home and put this on their big screen. We're in a more or less kind of a heavy set. We got Hawes in the game. We got Gilliam in the game. And we've been talking about this on my show, Jerry's show, and with you a lot, Joe, about the types of things that we can do with Gilliam, Anderson, and now Jackson Hawes, because he's such a tremendous blocker. Right. So I call this a layered influence counter without pulling a single lineman. So this is really cool.
Whoa, it's a layered influenced counter without pulling a single lineman. Good Lord. Okay.
I know. And I had to watch it a few times. So typically on a counter play, the front side is going to block down on the play side, right? And then you either pull a guard and have a fullback or a tight end follow, and you wrap, right? You kick and wrap. So in this instance, and this is pretty cool, I'm going to run it, but keep your eyes on Torrance and Vandermark. They fly out and influence in the exact opposite direction of the play. So real quick, the right side goes shooting out almost like it's wide zone,
right?
But the play goes left.
So they sell it for the linebacker 33, who you see sliding to his left. Or I guess
there
it's safety, not a linebacker. My bad.
We're trying to freeze these guys, but here's the really cool part. Okay, so you get Hawes is in motion, and I'm going to try to go frame by frame. Dawkins blocks down on the 3 technique with Edwards. Shakir tries to influence the defensive end a little bit. So he's going to bump him and slow him down right here. And what that's supposed to do is create a gap between, it's not Shakir, it's Coleman, between Coleman and Dawkins. And you can see the gap right there lined up with the goalpost. This is an influence block. So Coleman occupies him visually, bumps him, and then he abandons him. And then Hawes comes in and he takes the defensive end, occupies him, and then Gilliam is going to wrap up into the hole right about here. Gilliam makes that turn, and we have a fair gap right here. And if you've listened to me long enough, running plays, you want 4 yards minimum. That's a successful running play. This one rips off for about 6 or 7. But the cool thing, Joe, and I'm always thinking, like, what can they do next? With the way they're blocking this on the right side, this gives a really good opportunity for Josh to play fake and boot out the backside and have a personal protector. And then you can leak. I'm not sure who it is right there by the Buffalo stripe right there. It could be Elijah Moore. It could be Josh Palmer. But he could run that stem, sell the safety.
The wide receivers, Curtis Samuel.
He can run right at that safety as if he's going to block him and then slip him and run the seam, and Josh can hit him down the seam. So pretty cool. And it's a very difficult play to execute because you got a lot of moving parts and it takes a long time to get there. So I'm going to run it back and run it through one more time. And I'll give you one question, Joe, if you got one.
Well, the question is right here. So 33 is so I tried to pause it for you. As you back up, we always hear the phrase. So I'll let you. I'll not try to take
No,
over.
you get me where we need to be for your question.
So we always hear the word keys, right? And you know the defense, specifically in the run game, they need to focus on their keys. Every team says it. Stay in their gaps, which gap integrity. We understand lanes, we understand gaps, and all that crap. Like we've learned a lot from you and Jerry. In this situation, the safety 33 starts to his right and then jumps to his left, right? Because he sees all that motion. What is his key here? Because you don't want to get caught looking in the backfield, right? We're told that all the time. So what is his key here? Is his key that side of the offensive line that's moving to their right aggressively?
So he takes that step because Hawes goes in motion, but I think what happens is he sees Josh. He doesn't know if it's a handoff at this point or if it's a boot. So he's thinking boot right now when he starts to look at Josh, and then he sees the handoff actually happen. He's not necessarily being influenced by the offensive lineman. Linebackers will take that influence. Safeties not as likely to. But you could see the adjustment they made when Hawes went in motion. They want to go stack up over there. And this is kind of a brute force play. You're saying, the attitude here is we're coming at you. We're going to have a lot of man blocks. We just think that we are going to displace you enough and create enough seams and be sticky enough to get 6 or 7 yards.
The funny part is the linebackers didn't buy it at all. Like the aggressive motion on the right side of our line. They literally slid straight to where the actual action of the play was.
So a lot of times with the Bills, you're going to key on Gilliam, right? Mm-hmm. So on the snap of the ball, the backside linebacker, he's got to watch Gilliam.
Right.
So on the snap of the ball, when Gilliam heads to his left, that backside linebacker is going to go for sure. The front side linebacker, he's going to want to maintain that C gap or B gap. He's in the C right now, but we just overpower him.
Interesting. Successful play. And the cool thing about it is I'm excited now for when we do what you said and we run a boot off of this play, because you'll be able to bring it back and be like, remember when I told you about that play against the Saints? Well, here it is. Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
Well, and there's another wrinkle to that too. You can actually run that play to the front side and Josh doesn't have to boot out the back. He can set out over on the guard tackle gap because you've taken Gilliam over there and you've taken Hawes over there, and they can basically sell a run block, engage and sit, and then Josh has got all that time with all the linebackers and safeties sucking up, and instead of Palmer or Samuel running a post or seam, they can run a post to the far side. Lots of things going on, Joe.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm commenting. I'm chatting at people in the comment section. So
I love it. We love our people in the comments. Maggie, Tracy, Richard Rush. Who else is here? Danny Kwan. Everybody's here. All right, this one I love because this is something that you really. So you got a loud stadium, and there's a couple plays in this run that I'm going to say the 12th man really helped. Okay. So in this instance, anytime, and we love seeing motion, right? But nobody really talks about, hey, if I'm an offensive lineman and I'm blocking a combination with my guard or with the tight end to the next level, if we motion across the formation, does that change my aiming point? Does that change my guy? Right? So I got to work two guys. I got to work a stack, so to speak. So at the beginning of this play, our linebackers, who probably are Bernard and Williams, they are pretty much stacked in their location, right? So if the ball were snapped right now, the left guard and left tackle would probably take Daquan or Phillips or whomever that is, might be Walker, and run the combination block to the backside backer, who I think is Terrell Bernard here, number 8. Okay? Pretty simple. But they outsmart themselves, so they send motion across, and you see our linebackers move. All right? So that bumps everybody over. So now you got to add. So instead of going to Terrell Bernard with the left guard, left tackle, now the combination is center right guard to Bernard because they added a blocker. But what happens is the left guard didn't get the memo. They couldn't talk because it was too loud. And on the snap of the ball, I'll freeze it right here, the left guard should be heading toward, Shaq Thompson. right?
Mhm.
And that, of course, I titled the play Shaq Thompson, but he
You're welcome.
doesn't. He doesn't see him.
Right,
But
right.
that should have been very easy for him
He is
when they were.
disrespecting the number 70 right now is what he's doing.
He
So
really is. I'm calling Eric right now. That's bad stuff. So see how he turns his shoulders? He has no clue he has Shaq Thompson. That is a huge F up by the left guard for the New Orleans Saints.
Mm.
But this is part and parcel with they might get to the huddle and the tackle will be like, dude, I gave you the call. He's like, bro, I can't hear anything. This is pretty.
Don't unpause the film because you're looking at the size of hole that Emmitt Smith used to run through when he was playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and somehow he became the greatest running back of all time. It's like I could have rushed for 10 yards through those holes. Like Thurman Thomas never got something like that ever in his life.
Don't get out over your skis, Joe. You're not making it through that hole. Not with your bad knee.
But the other part I said is right. That's an Emmitt Smith hole, and Thurman never had those holes.
Oh, thanks a lot. That was
on the left side. You had nothing to do with that.
Oh boy, here we go. Anyway, shout out to Bills Mafia and Highmark Stadium crowd because chances are they participated in this miscommunication. Left guard didn't visually see it. He didn't hear a call, and he screwed up, and Shaq Thompson made a freaking hell of a play. And I'll just run it there so you could just see him drag him down. Love it. Well done, Shaq.
Beautiful. It was nice that it happened because it didn't happen much. We had difficulty stopping their run game yesterday. So
right. And look, I just mentioned the 12th man, Highmark Stadium, Bills Mafia. This next play is absolutely perfect. This is awesome. Just watch all the pandemonium. Spencer Rattler is trying to get his guys ready to go, lined up, make a call. The clock is running down. The play clock is almost at 0. He's waving his hands, doing jumping jacks, and the guys, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to call. The right guard's standing up. They're all turning around going, what the hell do you want? But the key right here, Joe, watch Spencer Rattler. He points to his left.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yep.
So in this protection, the quarterback is telling the offensive line, we're taking the end man on the line on the left, okay? The end man on line.
Yep.
So Spencer's saying, take whoever that is. We'll call it Williams on the edge, okay? So we know that the center, left guard, left tackle are going to slide out to the defensive end, and we're going to take the running back, and we're going to basically read him out. But anytime there's an A-gap blitzer, and what I mean by that is look at Terrell Bernard. He's threatening to come right now. If you're the right guard, you have to respect that. So if the center's going away and you have A-gap pressure, he has to jump Bernard here. But what does he do? He basically, Spencer's freaking out. They finally get up. They get set. The ball's snapped, and the right guard sets into space. Now, you could argue that the running back should take Terrell Bernard in this place, but the way we were taught is you block from the inside out, okay? Mm-hmm. So I would rather have the guard take Terrell Bernard, and even though you think it's a bad matchup, you put the running back on, I think that's Deion Walker. It will always take the guy who's a gap outside longer to get the quarterback, and he'll also have the opportunity to step up or at least step in and make a good throw. But they let Terrell Bernard go free, and I ran out of time because I really wanted to show Rattler, waving his arms like a lunatic, so we don't get the end of the play. But you can see where Bills Mafia right now at all those decibels, I don't know, thousands of decibels, has this entire offensive line confused. Spencer Rattler can't get the call to them. They can't run a call across the line, and then the right guard and the running back have a miscommunication. I'm putting this on the right guard because never in my life would I let a guy run up the gut like that.
Yeah, it was awesome because to your point about the 12th man, and going back to last week, the Dolphins game, there were some Dolphins fans who I'm connected to on Twitter, 305 Sports Babe and her husband, and they actually were in Buffalo for the very first time for that Dolphins game. And got to take in the area. But what they talked about with the crowd, they were over, not that it takes much to impress a Dolphins fan when you're talking about a game. Right now, I'm looking at a game between the Dolphins and their number one rival, the New York Jets. Both teams are 0-3 in prime time, and the stadium's half full, right? So, I mean, but their comment was, all that to say this, they were wildly impressed with the fact that there wasn't a seat open, right, in our stadium. Every seat was taken. Most of them were standing, and they said, because they go to a couple away games a year, which like most Bills fans do as well. They said Seattle was probably the only stadium that rivaled the loudness of ours, and they've been in Kansas City, and I've been in Kansas City, and so have you, and that crowd is intense. Like, Kansas City is amazing. And then they said, I can't imagine how loud it's going to be when the new stadium comes, because it's completely exposed. So, yeah.
And Joe issues a challenge to Bills Mafia, throws down the gauntlet.
And for some reason, John went 1955 radio voice there.
I always do, and something seems very poignant.
Well,
here we go, Joe Miller. All right, last play, because I wanted to watch it again and again. And there's actually a couple of interesting things on this play. This is Cole Bishop's interception on the what I like to call the discount Philly special.
The discount. They got it on sale.
Yeah. They ran it like they did.
Right, exactly.
All right. We all know the play, so I got to start with the alignment. Cole Bishop is at the bottom of the eye and Bills in the end zone over there. So he's stacked outside the tackle.
Right.
So one thing that, and I'll run the play in a second here, but typically when you see a play like this, you want all the offensive guys to vacate the side of the field where you're running the trickery, right? So you want to have all these receivers at the bottom of the screen, shallow cross, or get the hell to the left side of the formation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why they don't do that. I'm going to run it here. Keep your eyes on the receiver at the bottom. Right here, he should be cutting in and going flat, because all he's doing is holding us on this side of the ball. Now, it didn't really affect it, but if we had a different coverage here, if we're running more or less like, if he's going to stay in the flat and we're going to hand him off to the safety right here, and whether that's Benford or Strong or Tre'Davious White, if he sits at the 1 or 2 and we hand off this receiver because we got him bracketed here, then the play's dead, right? Mm-hmm. Now, so it makes no sense to me. And if you look at the slot at the top of the screen, he starts coming to the play side also. Like, why are you dragging all the defenders into your discount Philly special?
Yeah, you want to keep everybody away from the play, right?
Yeah. And you know what? That might have been the key that had Cole Bishop take his eyes from that slot receiver, or because he started coming in, that freed up his eyes, because he knew he had teammates to his right, but he ends up spying, and he sees Spencer Rattler right out here, and not looking like a guy who's going to stand and watch the play, but you could tell by their actions, right? So a guy that's standing still is not going out on a route, but Spencer Rattler is very clearly wants to get into the pattern. Cole Bishop reads that and just makes a beeline. And what's really great is when he elevates at that point right there with that left hand. It's just a beautiful play.
Yeah, so it was funny to me because, like, literally that is the definition of what a safety does, right? Like, they're the guy, kind of like that guy that sits in the back and diagnoses what's going to happen based on what they're seeing the quarterback's eyes, and just people, like, spatial awareness type of a feel. And when I saw the play develop in front of me, I was in that end zone. You're right above it in the M&T suite. Jerry and I are on the opposite side in the Caesars suite, which the other experience was not great, by the way, but that's a different story for a different day. When I saw the play develop, I was like, when I saw the throwback, I was like, oh, here we go. Like, and then out of nowhere, Cole Bishop showed up and, like, elevated, to your point, and took that ball away. This is a back-breaking play. As much as this was early in the game, this swings the momentum one way or the other way heavily, either for the Bills or against the Bills, or I probably should say against the Bills or for the Bills, for the Saints against the Saints. They execute this play, and they start to believe at this point, like, we can do some stuff on this football team, right? So, and the fact that Cole got that and shut it down was enormous.
Yeah, and, I want to address what you talked about, right? People looked at the Saints and their record, and, they had 2 reasonably close games, got blown out in one other, and just think, oh, well, this should be a walk in the park. Mm-hmm. And I just can't emphasize it enough. We are also a target. and we talked about this a lot when I played for the Bills during the Super Bowl years. We are everybody else's Super Bowl.
Right.
Right. So
right.
If the Saints go and lose to Carolina, everybody's kind of yawning and going to bed. But if you beat the Bills, all of a sudden, like you've got this confidence building. So people bring their A game. I got to Buffalo and they'd be like, well, those guys were terrible. And they're like, doesn't matter. They're going to play like it's the freaking Super Bowl against us. We're everybody's Super Bowl. And you're like, well, that kind of sucks for us. He's like, well, you got to beat them all, right?
That's right.
So
that's amazing.
It's a mind trap game for a fan because you get lost in the weeds of the statistics and their record and who you think like Spencer Rattler is or isn't, or
right.
Who's available on their defense, and you start to think, oh well, it should be a walk in the park. That's a fan mind trap, and you just as a player, you still see their record, you still see some of the things they do. You still might not think Spencer Rattler is a great football player yet or will be ever, but it's the same thing I tell Bruno week in and week out when he goes out to play the defensive ends with Duke. I say, that guy across from you is going to the Hall of Fame. He is the best guy you are going to see on this play in the world.
Right.
And if you convince yourself of that, then you're going to try to, separate for yourself from getting lackadaisical or soft or pretending you're going to use a different technique that you never used, right? Which is what Joey Bosa did. He took the inside when he shouldn't have taken the inside, and it bit him twice minimum. So you just get up to the ball on every play, and you just think to yourself, that guy is going to try to kill me, and I'm saving everyone in my family and in the state from that SOB.
That's funny. It's interesting because my only real takeaway, I think, at this point, post game Saints 31-19, scoring 31 points again. The offense is the offense. The offense is going to be fine, and I feel like as much as last year, the everybody eats mantra was a thing, and I'm going to use the words subpar set of wide receivers that didn't really come to life until a true number one in Amari Cooper showed up, right? And then it was like, and took some attention, and then we saw people settle in, and I feel like Josh started to settle in because then Amari got hurt and wasn't there. And now we're into a different year where you got Keon coming to life, Shakir's another year wiser. You got the two new guys in Moore and Palmer, but it feels like the offense is going to be able to thrive or do what they need to do. Where I'm going with all of this, the concern I have is still on the defense and stopping the run. And I don't know if it's because of Fitz or rookies or Terrell Bernard talked about, guys just doing their job. And it's like, why do we get in the position every year, John Fina, where I've got the defensive captain saying, yeah, guys just need to stay in their lanes and mind their run gaps and their run fits, and we'll be fine, like do their job and we'll be fine. It's like every year we got to have the conversation to the same guys about staying in your gap, staying in your run fit, make sure you stay in your lane. I wonder how much of it is the growth of the going to a 4-3, because they're in a 4-3 base defense a whole lot more than they've ever been.
They are, and it's not, and it shouldn't be. I think that it's easy to say.
I'm sorry. It's literally like the running back, pick a running back name, I don't care, going to the wrong hole every play, and Josh Allen every year having to say about Billy Martin, I'm making up a name, saying, well, it's just about the running back hitting the hole he's supposed to hit, and if he does his job, we'll be fine here. Like every year we got to have this conversation.
It's funny you made that analogy, because that's a terrible analogy. And I mean that in the most loving way possible, because
makes sense in my fan brain.
So much about the running game is read and react now. Very few plays are like they were when I was in high school, where, we're going to hit that B gap, we're going to hit that C gap.
Right.
Now a lot of it is read and run kind of stuff, react to what happens in front of you. It's easy to say that Daquan Jones has the B gap and he's got to sit in that B gap. But one thing I didn't get to earlier that I want to say is, I could play a great game against Joe Miller this week, and then I see him 5 weeks down the road, and for some reason, you have my number a little bit more than I did you the last time, right? Yeah, that's as good as you're going to get this week, buddy. I say that because there are times when you're out of position that you need to fight back into position. And I see we miss that a little bit. So it's this idea that you got to make the right read and you got to make the right step and throw, the right punch and roll your hips the right way to stay in your gap.
Right.
And sometimes when you get caught off, you tend to take the easy way out, which creates bigger seams. Look, I think the Saints had a good game plan against our defense. They hit the edges really well, and then they countered up inside. That was their game plan. They did a good job. We need the defensive ends to play better, defensive tackles to be better like they were against the Jets. And it's weird because you'd say that and you're like, what happened to the front four that played the Jets just 2 short weeks ago? Where'd those guys go?
Right.
So I wish I could just say, Joe, here it is. It's math. It's 2 + 2 = 4 every time, but it's just not like that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Great job, John. Good breakdowns, good plays that you brought to the show this week. Any thoughts going forward for this Patriot? I think the Patriots are going to give us a game on Sunday night. Stephon Diggs is coming to town, and we know that Josh was, I'm just going to say it, and people cannot believe me all they want. Josh was very much in his feelings in that Houston game across the field from Stephon Diggs last year. All of that may have subsided, being married, all of it in the past, Stephon Diggs being on a different team, none of it may even matter anymore. But I feel like the Patriots are going to give him a game. But your thoughts coming into this week real quick?
Yeah, it's a division game, right? It's going to be a battle. We got away with one pretty easy against the Jets. The Miami game was a little bit more of a battle, but I think Josh might have felt a little bit betrayed by Stephon, and maybe that took more than a year to get over, right? Not in, just like, hey man, I thought we were together in this thing, and then you went off the rails. I don't see Josh reacting to Stephon Diggs the way he, we might suspect that he did last year. I think he's well over it. I think he likes his group this year. I think the group offers everything in the wide receiver room that we need. Yeah. It's now a function of getting the right game plan and the proper execution and hitting those zones and man coverages where they're soft. But beyond that, get out, get to your Sahlens. It was beautiful when I was in Buffalo. So there were Sahlens on the grills at every tailgate.
It's still hot
all the way.
It's still hot dog season.
It's still hot dog season, baby. And Joe, I've had a great time on this show, man.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the Sahlen's Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Victory Monday, Victory Tuesday, Victory Wednesday, Victory Thursday. It's a great week of victories. Tomorrow on the On the Beat program, we're going to have Tim Graham, Buffalo Bills beat reporter, I believe from The Athletic is where he's from, just off the top of my head. And if I got that wrong, I'm sorry, Tim. I'll correct it tomorrow. Wednesday, 7 days to Sunday, new format program for Jerry Ostrowski's show. He's now on with Zig Fracassi. Zig Fracassi, John Fina, is a part of our network, which is bizarre and crazy to think about because Zig has been on Sirius XM NFL radio forever, and he has a voice that rivals many other people's voices on this network. And I'm just, every time I hear him talk, it just takes me back to like the mid 2000s when I had Sirius NFL radio in my car. But it's so good to have every single one of you guys join us. Thank you for hanging out with us. But for me, for John, for Jerry, for Ant, for Zig, for everybody, for Dan, for all of us here at Overreaction, appreciate you guys. We love you. Go Bills. Oh, John froze.